Twins sweep the Tigers in a 4-game weekend series.
So heading into the series, the Tigers had a record of 40.
Turn right onto North Telegraph Road.
Yeah, they're 40 and 51 right now, so they were 40 and 47. You thought, okay. Now, some people thought they'd take 3 out of 4. You got to look, Minnesota, obviously they're playing poor, but they're not that horrible. So, all right, you'll split.
Continue
Great,
onto South Telegraph Road.
42 and, that wouldn't be so bad.
No.
At the break, 42 and 49, considering where you were, you wouldn't have lost you wouldn't have lost the series. Now, and look, 4 games doesn't make everything because they come back. They could sweep the Twins when they come back. I don't think they will because.
At home?
Yeah, but they got Arenas pitching, so I don't think that's going to happen. And they're banged up, they're beat. And here's the other thing. Our telephone number is 248-539-9797. As a Tiger fan, where are you with this team at the? Because like I said, you made the joke about they're Dennis Green. This is who we thought they were. I didn't think they were this bad in April, as bad as they were in April, because they were horrific. We didn't think. I mean, they were having lineups that nobody was hitting 200. I mean, it was a joke. And then the winning record in May and record in June. So, they're playing good ball. They're not that good because you look at the roster. So the combination of how bad they were in April and relatively speaking, how decent they were in May and June, you thought, okay, here we go. But no. That's why I didn't. That's why I didn't get excited. Rieger's like sitting there going, God, we're gonna play meaningful games in September, and it's like, really. Seriously, look at this roster, and we sit and talk about the future, and we'll get into the draft coming up at, like I said, at 7:02. On this team, who do you either think will be part of a rebuild? Or when the team becomes decent, and who won't? I mean, here's who I have, okay? My Skubal, Soto, maybe. Manning, probably. Funkhauser. Jake Rogers will either be the starting catcher or the backup to Dingler in 3 years. Mm-hmm. And maybe Baddoo. Scope, yeah. Candelaria, yeah. But that's it.
I think you got to include Buck Farmer because he'll be here forever.
That's right.
Yes,
But that's it. I mean, Farmer probably won't be here. Cisnero won't be here. These guys, he's up there in age. They have nobody.
Take a slight right turn.
The future
Then
is
turn right.
what we saw in Denver yesterday afternoon with Torkelson and Riley Green and Dingler. Some of these other guys. There's a guy also in here. We call him Johnny 300. John Valente, I believe is his name actually. VALE.
Nephew to Mike.
I don't know. He's pretty. I mean, they have some players in their farm system. Perez, people like that. Campos maybe, but still 3 years away. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, it's a bad roster. This is a bad team. Why would we expect anything different?
Well, here's why you would expect something different and I think you need to look at the entire first half of the season and look at the swings. In the second half of the season, you're going to see the same swings in terms of the ups and the downs. But going into this last series with the Twins, you had, a sweep of the Cardinals. I know it was only 2 games, but then you split with the Houston Astros, who were playing really good baseball at the time. And then
They should have won that. They should have won the series.
They should have won the series. They won the series against the Cleveland Indians 2-3 or 2-1, and that was on the road in Cleveland. Then they were able to win the series against the White Sox. And so, but that was at home. And then they obviously they won the series again with the Rangers. Right. So they started out this 25-game stretch. You're like, okay, 2-1. All right, we can back that off to 17-8, 15-10, something of that nature. A little bit more realistic than when you were gone and Rieger said 20-5. Now they're going to have to go 18-0 for him to reach his goal. But then you go and you play against the Minnesota Twins. And you can't just say, well, it was in Minnesota. or it was, there's no excuse because, as you mentioned, Saturday and Sunday, 4-run leads.
Yeah.
And put on top of that yesterday, not only did you have a 4-1 lead, but you came back in the top of the 8th with a grand slam home run. All of that momentum, all of that excitement, everything going on, you're just like, oh, what a letdown going into a stretch where now all we have to talk about is, we've got the home run derby tonight, we've got the All-Star game, none of which the Tigers are involved in other than, a relief pitcher.
Yeah.
And so this time off, the Tigers, especially in this stretch with football starting up at the end of the month, they're at a point where if they continue to go down this road, once you hit August and September, they're a footnote. You'll mention the score, but then you move on to everything else.
Right.
They have become irrelevant, and they need to come out of this All-Star break rested, as healthy as possible, and with their hats on fire.
Look, you have, I believe it's like 10 or 11 days till the NHL draft, and then 17 days till the NBA draft on the 29th, which everybody's pretty pumped up about. And then you mentioned training camp's going to start for the Lions, and then we start getting into college football. And you're right. The Tigers are going to be a football. And which is, didn't expect that much different. I get people were happy because when you try to play the schedule game, and you can't play the schedule game in baseball. It just doesn't work.
Well, it doesn't work,
Stay in the
especially
left
because
lane.
there's so many games.
Right.
And, like I said, there's an ebb and flow to a season. There's highs, there's lows. And when they started this 25-game stretch, Tigers fans, the Tigers themselves, everybody was on a little bit of a high. Some higher than others, and some might have actually been high when they made their prognostications.
Yeah.
But you're going with this type of team, and you mentioned it at the outset, the roster. It's just not very talented.
No.
You have things to look for in regards to, Akil Baddoo. What do we know about him, and do we believe he can be part of the future? That's where the conversation is.
Right.
Jonathan Scope, do you buy, do you sell, do you re-up? What do you do with him? Some of the pitchers, but you're talking about individuals. You're just not talking about the Tigers as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, like you look at Baddoo, and yeah, young player. He's progressed. His plate, discipline is much better. Nothing against him. I don't think he's going to be a star.
No, but you look at the way he's progressed.
Right.
To take a look at yesterday,
Yeah.
right? They've got bases were loaded, 2 outs. He swung at an 0-2 pitch, hit it to the opposite field, scored 2 runs
Right.
to start the scoring in the game.
Yeah.
That is something I don't think he could have done in that stretch in
True.
April.
He still has to learn how to hit against lefties. But,
He does.
That's a process. But like I mentioned, he will probably be here, you hope, if he continues to progress in 3 years when you think you're going to make a move, 2 years, whatever timetable you're on. But that's it as far as position players. Jake Rogers will probably be here, probably as a backup catcher. That's it. Candelario, maybe you progress to the fact where he's your utility player, and Nico Goodrum is not here anymore.
Right. Yes.
And the Castros are not here anymore. That's what you have to hope for as a Tiger fan, where you'll be able to get enough, players in there, and hopefully Chris Ilitch, and we'll get into this, like I said, at 7:02 because it all ties in. Maybe Chris Ilitch will say, you know what, nobody's coming to the ballpark. Our team blows. My dad would turning over in his grave because I won't spend any money. It's time to spend some money and get Tiger fans back to the ballpark and having a proud product. Because right now, it's better than it was.
Yeah.
But it ain't too good. All right, coming up next, we're gonna do a little Twitter poll here for you, because when we saw something yesterday at Wimbledon, who's the best of all time?
We will find out. I don't know.
97-1.
Well, I can tell you who the best local mortgage solution is of all time, and it's right now at Level 1 Bank. John Jansen here, and I love the wide variety of loan programs Level 1 Bank provides, including all standard loans, first-time homebuyers, purchase or refi, single-close construction and renovation loans, even doctor loans. And here's what I like about it. They took the time to get to know me, and they're going to do this with everyone. They understand your needs, what your situation is, and they're going to tailor a solution that's exactly right for you. They provide frequent communication throughout the entire mortgage process. Even if you're refinancing, you can even apply and get pre-approved for that mortgage online. It couldn't be any simpler. That's why I got my mortgage at Level 1 Bank, and I think you should as well. You can trust the local mortgage experts at Level 1 Bank. For more information, go to level1bank.com/John Jansen Mortgage. That's level1bank.com/John Jansen Mortgage. Level 1 Bank is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. A crash is blocking the left shoulder 94 eastbound after Rossonville Road. 275 northbound traffic is slowing down from before South Huron Road to Eureka Road as one lane is open for construction. For fast service of AC, plumbing, or electrical, call Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. 37 years in the business. Free in-home estimates on Train AC and furnace. Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. Visit mastercraftheating.com. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
97.1 The Ticket would like to remind you that when you text the ticket, standard text messaging rates apply.
This is Boomer Science with an Odyssey Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get the Zone, AutoZone. I can't believe I'm saying this, but championship victory boat parades are becoming old hat in Tampa these days. Today, the Stanley Cup champion Lightning get their second boat parade in 10 months along the Hillsborough River in downtown Tampa. Now, this was born out of necessity due to COVID-19. The boat parade has become as synonymous with the area as the cheesy moniker Champa Bay. Back in February, a less than sober Tom Brady made headlines by tossing the Lombardi Trophy to celebrating teammates in an adjacent boat. Tight end Cameron Brate made what he called the best catch of his life. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor, who is drawing up emergency preparations for Hurricane Elsa last week, says she already has Tampa police divers standing by in case Nikita Kucherov, Steven Stamkos and company decide to take the 35-pound Lloyd Stanley for a swim. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We'll help you find everything you need. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP oil filter for just $28.99. And if you're an AutoZone Rewards member, you'll also get a $5 bonus reward. Get what you need fast and get the job done easier. Get in zone, AutoZone. Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
For many men, divorce brings a bewildering sense of loss. You feel adrift, isolated, like you're the only person in the world. But the good news is, you're not alone. Cordell & Cordell is here to help. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has been there to guide men through all aspects of divorce. And we'll be there for you.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Detroit area attorneys. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor. CordellCordell.com.
I came here with a lot of questions, and what attracted me was that I met a lot of different people who could help.
It's close by, has the program I want, just what I was looking for in a college.
I have a lot of different resources that can help me in different ways, and that helped my decision to come to Henry Ford College.
They're helping me save money toward my future, basically.
I am focused.
I am confident.
I am prepared.
I am future-driven.
I am future-driven.
I am future-driven.
Turn your drive into a future-focused degree at Henry Ford College. A new semester starts soon. Apply now at hfcc.edu.
For many homeowners, your crawl space is a place you never go, or maybe only when it's absolutely necessary. It's nasty, wet, and moldy, or maybe your floors are sinking. Well, it doesn't have to stay that way. Encapsulating your crawl space with Foundation Systems of Michigan's exclusive system keeps moisture out, protecting your home and making it more comfortable. Stop living over an unhealthy crawl space. Call the experts at Foundation Systems of Michigan for your free inspection.
At the roundabout, take the second exit onto Orchard Lake Road.
Are you thinking about selling your home, but worried you missed the hot summer market? Hi, this is Mark Z with eXp, and you could not have picked a better time of the year than right now to sell your home. While most sellers have given up, my clients are getting multiple offers. I'm not bragging, I'm applying for the job. Call me, Mark Z, at 844-SOLD-BY-Z and start packing.
I'm Jeff Lesson, and the lesson on golf is
Merge onto
Just accept it.
I-696
Our
West toward
25th
Lansing.
year bringing you the best deals in golf right now at lesson9golf.com. Lesson 9 Golf, Sunday, 8 a.m. 97.1 The Ticket.
Last year, 97.1 The Ticket Student Heart Check program detected over 150 student athletes who needed a follow-up with a cardiologist to ensure they have a healthy heart. Make time to have your child checked. Contact the Ernst Cardiovascular Center at Beaumont Hospital in Royal Oak. You could win the ticket signing bonus. $1,000 11 times each weekday. Powered by BetQL. Win more and cash in more with the help of BetQL. Download the BetQL app today to learn more. That's BETQL. Listen for the keyword at 1/2 each hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. Text that keyword to 72881 before the end of that hour. Message and data rate supply, and you could win a $1,000 signing bonus on 97.1 The Ticket. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Tony and Chanson.
All right, we'll get into the Tiger draft coming up at 7:02. Some ticket texts about the Tigers. First, team sucks. Simple. Yeah, they're not good. They're better than they were, but yes, they're not good. Exactly.
Yep.
Guys, the Tigers' problem this week is they made lots of mental errors at key points. Yesterday, after Jake's great grand slam, the next two batters took called third strikes in the ninth. The batter shouldn't take a called third strike from the seventh inning onward. That's Eric from Chelsea. Yeah, I kind of weird thing. How did the one? I don't forget where the game was. Well, I think it was. I forget which Castro it was. Swung at a third strike. The ball bounced at his ankles.
Yes. That fooled.
I don't have much hope for this season, though. They're giving me some hope. It was good to see Torkelson and Green in the Futures game yesterday. Lots of hope for the next few years. Enough of the Castros, Goodrum, and DFA, Nomar, Mazzara, Junkyard, Joe Hernandez. Oh, no. Where's Buck Farmer on this list? Look, Stoney, the Tigers were playing at a level that was not as sustainable over the whole season. They just don't have the depth of a contending team. I'm starting with my bet that the Tigers will not, I'm sweating my bet, the Tigers will not win over 70 games. Hopefully next year we'll see a 500 team at the All-Star break. That's from Mr. Sweets.
Then use the right lane to keep right to merge onto I-696 West toward
I think they'll
Lansing.
win 7. That was my prediction at the beginning of the year as well. I think I actually said 72.
So if they win 70, so there's 40, 50, so that's 91 games, so they have 71 left, right, by my math. So they have to go 30 and 41.
Yeah. It's about the pace that they've been on.
Yeah, they could possibly do that. The Tigers are a 72 to 75 win team with mediocre replaceable talent. According to Baseball America, unbiased, they have the top 10 young talent and low payroll. I think the Tigers are positioned to just find that talent the next couple of years and then be a team with high expectations. Hope you're right. Tim LaPierre says Avila needs to go. We need position players badly. How can we go pitcher
Keep
again?
left onto
Like I
I-696
said,
West
we're
toward
gonna-
I-96 West.
7:02. Yesterday, big day in London. First you had Wimbledon, then you had the European Soccer Championships. England did not win. Italy wins in penalty kicks. And in Wimbledon, Novak Djokovic wins again. He defeated Matteo Berrettini of Italy in 4 sets. The 20th major Grand Slam for Djokovic, tying him with Nadal and Federer, each with 20. So,
In 2 miles,
little Twitter
keep
post
left onto
for you.
I-696 West toward
I know a
I-96
lot of people
West.
don't follow that closely. Who's the greatest male tennis player of all time? Because if I said tennis player, it'd be Serena. So we just want to go by majors. She's got 23. Now, Margaret Court, I think, has the most, but she didn't play in the Open era and all that stuff. So Djokovic, Nadal, Federer. They all have 20.
Yes.
I would assume Djokovic is going to get a couple more. Maybe even this year.
Could get the Grand Slam.
He could get whatever. I mean, he could win the Olympics too.
Right. So
He hasn't decided whether he's going. So they all have 20. I'm going to say it's so hard. Nadal's so good on clay at the French because he's 130. I'm going to take him out of the equation. My mind.
because he's won a majority of his at one place.
Yeah.
Use the left 2 lanes
So
to
to me,
keep
it's
left
between
onto
Djokovic and
I-696
Federer.
West toward
So
I-96 West.
Look back on who was the most dominant during the prime of their career. And it might have been Federer, but I think when said and done, it's going to be Djokovic. Because Federer's 39 years old.
Keep left.
Djokovic is the youngest of the three at 34. Nadal's 35.
In
Here's the other
1.4
reason I'm
miles,
picking
continue
Djokovic.
onto I-96 West.
He has his majors. Look, he's won where he's won more than others, and that would be the Australian. Djokovic is 6 Wimbledons, 9 Australians, 3 U.S., 2 French. Federer, 8 Wimbledon, 6 Australians, 5 U.S., just 1 French. And Nadal, like I said, 13 French, 4 U.S. Opens, 2 Wimbledons, and 1 Australian. So I'm going with Djokovic, who I also believe is probably the most underappreciated superstar, maybe of all time.
He's a guy
Any sport.
that
People just
love him.
Yeah. And see what he did yesterday? He ate the grass.
Yes.
He's actually...
He went full Les Miles.
Yes. He was actually
Continue on to
he's actually gotten a lot
I-96
more
West.
fun to watch.
Likable.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent.
See, in my house,
Well, your
and
wife
I
is
can
a former collegiate tennis player.
right, and she despises Novak Djokovic. And so, well, because like everybody else, like they don't like his antics. And other times where, because tennis is one of those sports where it's like there's a certain way you're supposed to act all the time. You know, we talk about unwritten rules in baseball. Tennis is absolutely loaded with them. And he is one of those guys that he doesn't follow conventions. And I think there's a lot of people that are true tennis fans that look at it and go, you know what? He doesn't respect the game like he should.
Don't you think that's changed over the last
I
4 years?
certainly do, but I think a lot of people have made up their minds prior to the last few years, and they can't go back on it. Now, I sit there and I privately cheer for Djokovic because I like his intensity. I love how he plays. That's exactly why I'm silent.
Yes.
Yeah, but I do like cheering for him because he is so dominant. And when you look at Roger Federer, right? He is the oldest of the 3. He won, I think it was, I counted them just a minute ago, 8 before the 3 of them were competing together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in terms of he was on the scene first, he won 8, and then when it was a competition between these 3, then it was more Nadal and Djokovic.
Right.
Throughout the course of this time. So
I think
head to head.
I think Federer is the more aesthetic, pleasing to watch. To me, Nadal is great. Look, they're all great, but Nadal, because he's so good on French, and he grunts a lot more than Federer. I just think Federer at some
In
point
2
is
miles,
probably more
take
dominant.
exit
But
159
Djokovic,
onto Wixom
the
Road.
numbers mean something in this sport. They really do, and he's just so freaking good.
And he's only 34.
Yeah.
By the time he gets to 39, I think he's probably going to be in the 24, 25 range.
Yeah,
even more.
You go after Margaret Court's record.
Right. And you look at what he could possibly do this year, something that both of those other guys, in terms of Federer and Nadal, have never done. Neither of them have ever won a Grand Slam in 1 year. Plus, you could pair that with if Djokovic does decide to play in the Olympics. Now, it would be tough because he's going to have to turn around in, 2 weeks to play in the Olympics, and then another 2 weeks after, another 3 weeks after that, he's going to have to compete in the U.S. Open. Having those 5 in 1 calendar year, I think would absolutely solidify him as the greatest.
On our Twitter poll for today, Stoney and Jansen with Heather, who is the greatest men's tennis player of all time? Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, or other? When you say other, you may think Pete Sampras, but Pete Sampras couldn't win on clay.
No.
You might think Bjorn Borg, but he had problems. He never won the U.S. Open.
It's a completely different style of play, too.
Yes, it's different, especially like for
The serve was king when those guys played.
Take the exit, then keep left onto Wixom Road south toward Novi.
It's just Grandpa me. All right, 248-539-9797 is the telephone number. Do you have the patience of Job with Al Avila? 97.
Use the left 2 lanes to keep left onto Wixom Road
WXYT
south
FM and
toward Novi.
WXYT HD1 Detroit. And Odyssey Station. Sports
headlines all day, every day. From the Sold by Mike Z Sports Desk. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
We are brought to you by Mother Waddles. Twins beat the Tigers 12-9 and 10. They sweep the 4-game series. Tigers led it a couple times, including 4-0. They also had a grand slam from Jake Rogers in the 9th to retake the lead, then lose it in the 10th on another 3-run bomb from Jorge Polanco. This one a walk-off. Tiger bullpen brutal after starter Willie Peralta getting up just 1 run in 5 innings. MLB draft, Tigers go with the number 7 ranked prospect with the 3rd overall selection, 18-year-old right-hander Jackson Jobe from Oklahoma. They bypassed the number 1 ranked prospect according to MLB.com, shortstop Marcel Meyer, who went to the Red Sox at the next pick. At number 39, they get right-hander Ty Madden from Oklahoma. The draft runs through Tuesday. In the futures game, Spencer Torkelson 1 for 2. Riley Green 2 for 3. Tiger hitters get 3 of the 5 hits for the AL. NBA Finals, Milwaukee takes Game 3 over Phoenix 120-100. Giannis with 41. Phoenix still leads it 2-1. Wimbledon, Novak Djokovic, the men's singles titles winner. His 20th Grand Slam title, tying in for most all-time with Federer and Nadal. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson Studio, Stoney and Jansen on 97.1 The Ticket.
All right, 97.1 The Ticket. Our telephone number is 248-539-9797. Last night was the Major League Baseball draft, and let's be honest, most of us, probably 97% of us, never heard of Jackson Jobe or Marcelo Meyer up until about 3 weeks ago.
Nope.
Most. Okay. But, you know, in preparation, you do a lot of reading, at least you should, if you're going to have some kind of informed opinion on it. And whether it's Baseball America, whether it's Keith Law's stuff in The Athletic, whether it's our own Pat Caputo's stuff, you do some research, you form some opinions, and you decide whether, you know, the Tigers did the right thing. You know, so I'm watching the draft, and, you know, Pittsburgh notoriously being cheap, they take somebody who they say might be the most ready to go right away, the catcher from Louisville, Davis, in the first round. So, okay, Tigers, obviously, you know, Myers, most people had him as number 1, okay? But it wasn't not an, oh my God, slam dunk number 1, all right? So then Texas goes 2, and they go with Jack Leiter from Vanderbilt. So you're sitting there at 3 going, oh, this is like Penny Sewell all over again.
It falls right to us.
Myers going to fall right to us. And the Tigers take Jackson Jobe, a high school pitcher out of Oklahoma. And, you know, the book of Job says that he is real as 2.
You're on fire.
Hey, I'm doing a good job. The deal, look, he throws like 99. He's in high school. You looked at some of the video that they showed. The slider was just freaking nasty.
Yes.
I mean, he was obviously, in most people's eyes, a top 10 pick, not a top 3 pick. When you look at the Tigers, they have some pretty good young pitching, you assume. Some we've seen, some is injured, some haven't been here.
Yes.
The team obviously needs a shortstop. They need position players a lot.
Badly.
But I can't honestly tell you that this is going to be a bad. What I don't like is the position. And the reason is high school pitchers taken in the first round do not historically do as well as shortstops. And I had some friends, the law firm of Shapiro and Radner, did some research for me. And how about this? The first high school pitcher taken in the draft over the last 15 years, okay? Kershaw, Jared Parker, Ethan Martin. Now, after Kershaw, tell me when you've heard of somebody. Ethan Martin, Matt Hobgood, Jameson Talion, you've heard of. Dylan Bundy, you heard of, but he had what? Tommy John, Max Fried of the Braves, okay? Cole Stewart, Brady Aiken, never signed, never pitched in the majors. Kobe Allard, Ian Anderson, I remember him from Jethro Tull. Mackenzie Gore of the Padres, who they say will be a stud. Ryan Weathers, Jackson Rutledge. So basically, 15 pitchers, 1 first ballot Hall of Famer in Kershaw, and 14 pitchers so far have a combined grand pitchers get hurt a lot, and a lot of them don't make it. However, all right, Stoney, you're sitting there, you're ripping high school
Turn right onto 11 Mile Road.
pitchers. What about the history of high school shortstops? Here's a list of the first high school shortstops selected since 2005 in the first round. Justin Upton was selected as a shortstop. Pete Kuzma, Tim Beckham, Giovanni Meyer. How about these three in a row? Manny Machado, Francisco Lindor, Carlos Correa. J.P. Crawford, Nick Gordon, Brendan Rodgers, Gavin Lux, Royce Lewis, Twins, he was #1 overall. Jordan Groshers, and 2019, Bobby Witt Jr. So, just on that empirical data, the success for a high school shortstop is greater than for a high school pitcher. Now, does that mean that Job's definitely going to fail? No. Does it mean that Meyer's definitely going to be a stud? No. But what bothers me is the history. Like I said, pitchers get hurt a lot.
Especially those that throw with as much heat as he's throwing with at that young age.
Yes. That's the biggest problem I have. Our telephone number is 248-539-9797. Now, for those of you who sit there and say, well, the Tigers need a shortstop. Why didn't they draft a shortstop? Whichever shortstop they drafted, if they did draft Meyer, or they did Lawler, or if it was going to be Brady House, there's like 5 or 6 shortstops taken in the first round. They're still in high school. They won't be in the Tigers or any major league team probably for 3 or 4 years anyway. And you have to hope that, Joel, whatever word you want to use, that the Tigers, especially this season, ponies up and gets a shortstop in free agency, and by that time, they won't need one of these guys to be a shortstop in their system. Look, you can never have enough pitching, so that doesn't bother me. They drafted their compensatory pick at the end of the first round, Ty Madden, a pitcher from Texas. Baseball America says it was like the best pick in the draft because where they had it slotted and where the Tigers had it taken. So,
well, and you look at it, the hard part when we talk about the NHL draft and you talk about Major League Baseball is the development of these young players. You may not see them for 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, Matt Manning was their first round pick in 2016.
Yeah.
And what we've seen 3 starts of him this year, it took 5 years.
One, and they sent him down.
Right. And so it's you've got to have that crystal ball, or at least you wish you had that crystal ball to say what are the Tigers going to be in 5 years? Are they going to need another right-handed arm in 5 years? Will he be healthy? Will he ever see the major leagues? All of those are questions. And yes, you can have those questions with shortstops, as you mentioned.
Right. There's a list that Matthew Mowry, who used to work for the Oakland Press, I don't know if he still does, he had a thing I saw on Twitter, high school arms taken by Detroit in the top 15 rounds of the Major League Baseball draft since 2002. So I'm not going to go through all those, but I will point out the ones who were in the first round. Porcello obviously made it. He was the 7th pick. Jacob Turner was nothing. Man. They could have drafted Mike Trout about 8 picks. A lot of other teams.
Yes.
Bo Burrows. They basically just let him go, and Matt Manning's the